Today, I'm going to be showing you all the best credit cards to give you the highest rewards back at Costco. Now, Costco actually has its own credit card that you can use to earn rewards there, but it still isn't necessarily the best one to use at Costco. The Costco Anywhere Visa card by Citi gives you 4% cash back at gas stations and EV charging up to $7,000 a year, 3% back on restaurants and eligible travel, and then 2% back at Costco and Costco.com purchases, as well as 1% back on everything else. And while that is pretty good cash back, there are definitely some drawbacks to this card. The first is that while this card technically has no annual fee, you will need an active Costco membership to be able to use it. You'll be able to keep this card open, but you're not going to be able to actually redeem any of your cash back unless you have an active Costco membership. You're also going to need excellent credit to be able to get approved. So if your credit is under 720, you're probably going to have a pretty hard time getting approved for this card. There's also no sign-up bonus, and you're only going to be able to redeem your cashback once a year inside of their store. And the reason that Costco is doing this is because when you redeem your cashback, you're already inside of the store. So chances are you're just going to take that cash back and immediately spend it at Costco. And it only gives you 2% back inside of Costco, while some of the cards on this list give you all the way up to 4% back. So let's get straight into the list. But first, what I recommend a lot of people do that are watching this video is actually go and open up the PayPal debit card. There's no monthly fees with this card, and there's also no credit check or hard pull because it's a debit card. That means that this isn't going to impact your credit in any way because it's a debit card, so this won't affect your chances of getting approved for other credit cards on this list. The reason why I'm recommending this debit card is because you get 5% back on your first $1,000 to spend every month in a category that you get to choose. These categories include restaurants, clothing, health and beauty, grocery store, and gas. I chose gas, and I'm using it every single week to fill up my gas station at Costco and earn 5% back. As long as you have this card, you can just focus on cash back inside of Costco's store for all the rest of these cards. If you didn't know, only Visa credit cards are accepted at Costco, which is why all the cards on this list are Visas. The PayPal debit card is a MasterCard, but because it's a debit card, it's still going to be accepted. So in the number 6 spot, we have the AAA Daily Advantage. This and the Travel Advantage from AAA are two of the best cashback cards in my opinion, but we're going to be focusing on the Daily Advantage because it's going to give us 5% back in grocery store purchases, 3% back on gas and electric vehicle charging, 3% back on wholesale clubs, streaming services, pharmacies, and purchases at AAA, as well as 1% back on everything else. And it comes with no annual fee, no foreign transaction fee, and a $100 sign-up bonus. Now, what we're here for is that 3% back on wholesale clubs, which you probably could have guessed includes Costco. But that 5% back in groceries can also be very valuable. The only drawback to this card is that 5% back on grocery stores and then that 3% back on gas and wholesale clubs is capped at $10,000 a calendar year. Anything over that is just going to earn 1% back. Now, if you're single, that cap is definitely not going to be a problem. Even if you're married and have probably one kid, you're going to be okay. But it's when your family size exceeds probably 4 is when you're definitely going to be spending more than $10,000 on groceries and at Costco a year, and should look to the other cards on this list. This is honestly the best card on this list for a single person that does some of their shopping at Costco, but also likes to shop at other grocery stores as well. Which brings us to our number 5 card on this list, the Venmo credit card. This is one of the few cards on the market that's going to mold to your spending. It'll give you 3% back on your top spending category, 2% back on your second highest spend category, and then 1% back on everything else. Those categories include travel, grocery, entertainment, dining and nightlife, bills and utilities, health and beauty, and then gas. And the reason why I included this card on this list is because that grocery category actually includes Costco. And unlike the AAA card we just talked about, that 3% is uncapped. But while the rewards might be a little bit better for Costco specifically, the drawback to this card is that it doesn't have a sign-up bonus. And outside of earning 3% back at Costco, this card is kind of useless. A card like the Citi Custom Cash will give you higher rewards on all those other categories. So unless you want to get this as your dedicated Costco card for an unlimited 3% back and pair it with a PayPal debit card for 5% back on your Costco gas, you're going to be in a pretty good spot. But if you want more than 3% back on your purchases at Costco, look no further than our 4th card on this list, which is going to be the US Bank Smartly card. This is a brand new card from US Bank, and I'm already seeing people start to use it in public. There is no annual fee with this card, but it allows you to earn all the way up to 4% cash back on every single one of your purchases. Sounds too good to be true? Well, that's because it is. The base earning rate on this card is 2% back, but you can earn an extra 2% back, so you'd be totaling 4%. You would first want to open up a Smartly checking and savings account with US Bank, and then how much money that you have with US Bank is going to determine how much cash back you're going to earn with this card. If you have over $5,000 with US Bank, you're going to earn 2.5% back. If you have over $50,000, you're going to earn 3% back. And if you have over $100,000, you're going to earn 4% back. The eligible accounts include checking accounts, money market accounts, savings accounts, CD rates or IRA, US Bank Corp investments, and personal trust accounts. So for this card to actually make sense, we're going to need that full 4% back. 3% back isn't really going to be worth it, and you're going to understand why when I talk about the next card on this list. Here are the top strategies for having over $100,000 with US Bank. So the first would be to park it in US Bank's savings account. As long as you have $25,000 in their Smartly savings account, you're going to earn 3.5%. Most likely, it's not going to make sense to have that much money in a savings account unless you have a really big emergency fund, or you're, say, saving up for something like a down payment on a house. But their savings account is only giving you 3.5% back, and there's a lot of other savings accounts that are giving you 4% back, so it's really not the best place to keep your money. You would also want to stay away from stocks because US Bank charges a lot of fees when it comes to that stuff. The only one that really makes sense is moving over your IRA. There's a $50 annual fee for having an IRA with US Bank, but that's going to be waived if you have over $50,000, which we would obviously have. So if you're willing to move that much money over, this can be a perfect card for not just Costco spending, but literally every single other purchase. This is getting away from Costco a little bit, but if you wanted to use this as your primary card, but you still want to do some travel, you would probably want to pair it up with US Bank's Altitude Connect, because that gives you some great travel benefits like TSA pre-check, a couple free lounge entrances, but most importantly, no foreign transaction. And you would want that because the Smartly card does come with a 3% foreign transaction fee. If you want a card that's going to give you a high rate of uncapped rewards, but don't want to have all those strings attached with the US Bank, look no further than the Robinhood Gold card. You get a shiny gold metal card that weighs 17 grams. It has all the benefits that you'd want in a credit card, like no annual fee, no foreign transaction fee, as well as some good benefits pertaining particularly to Costco purchases. So let's say you went and you bought a phone from Costco and its manufacturer warranty lasts 12 months. But then after 14 months, your phone stops working due to a hardware issue. The Robinhood Gold card would give you an additional year of warranty, so that phone would be repaired or replaced for free. It also gives you return protection, so if you file a claim within 90 days of after you purchase something, and you show that for some reason Costco or whatever other retailer won't allow you to return it, you'll actually get reimbursed for the cost of that item. You also get purchase security, so if you buy something and then it gets lost, damaged, or stolen, you'll get reimbursed for that too. But probably more important than all that, this card gives you an uncapped 3% back on every single one of your purchases. Besides the Smartly card, 2% back on every single one of your purchases was pretty much the highest you were going to get. In one of my most viewed videos on this channel, I talk about some of my concerns that I have with this card. First of all, you have to pay for Robinhood Gold, which is $5 a month. There's no sign-up bonus, there's a $40 card replacement fee, and when the Robinhood CEO was asked if he was able to commit to 3% cash back for over 18 months, he said no. But I will say this card has definitely grown a little bit on me since then, just because of the benefits with Robinhood Gold. You do have to pay $5 a month or $60 a year, but you get 4% back on all your uninvested cash sitting in there, so you can essentially use it as a really good high yield savings account, and you also get a 3% match to all the money that you put in your Robinhood IRA account. If you're young like me, putting your money in something like a Roth IRA is one of the smartest things you can do, and even though I'm paying $60 a year, I pretty much get a free $210 from that IRA match. The reason that I put the Robinhood card one spot ahead the Smartly card is because if one of these cards did get nerfed, it would be a lot easier to get out of the Robinhood card than it would with the Smartly card, because the Smartly card, you'd have $100,000 in assets, where if you no longer wanted the Robinhood card, whether that's a nerf or for whatever else reason, you could just cancel gold and then be out of it. But with US Bank Smartly card, you'd have $100,000 there, and if you had that in an IRA and you want to transfer that out, US Bank would charge you a $95 transfer fee. Hopefully by the time you're watching this video, there's no longer a waitlist for the Robinhood Gold card, but for almost a year now, there has been a waitlist, and it's been pretty random with who they've been letting apply for this card. If you're looking for a more reliable cashback card, then the Wells Fargo Active Cash is probably going to be the best choice. This card's going to give you 2% back on every single one of your purchases, but it's also going to give you a $200 sign-up bonus, which is the highest sign-up bonus on this list so far. This card is pretty straightforward and reliable. You can use it to get 2% back at Costco or anywhere else you want to shop. All the cards on this list so far have been cashback cards, but the number one credit card on this list is actually going to be a travel card, and that's going to be the Venture X. This is a premium travel credit card with a $395 annual fee. But if you're traveling at least once a year, it pretty much pays you to hold it. This card comes with a $300 travel credit, and it's not like one of those American Express travel credits where you have to bend over backwards to use it. All you have to do is book travel through the Capital One travel portal, and then you're immediately going to get that statement credit. And what not a lot of people know is that Capital One actually price matches with any other travel portals or travel agencies. So if you find a cheaper price on, say, Expedia, then they'll actually go and give you the same price. It also gives you 10,000 anniversary miles. And if you value that conservatively at 1 cent per point, take that 10,000 anniversary bonus points and then combine it with the $300 statement credit, you're getting an easy $400 worth of value. So this card would essentially be paying you $5 to hold it. You get 10 points on hotels and rental cars, 5 points on flights, but what we're here for is the 2 points back on everything else. If you're able to use transfer partners and get 1.5 cents per point, which isn't too hard to do, it would be more like earning 3% back at Costco. This card comes with a 75,000 point sign-up bonus, which is at least $750 worth of travel, TSA pre-check, access to the Capital One lounges, and no foreign transaction fee. So if you are a traveler and you don't have a premium travel credit card yet, I would definitely go with the Venture X and then use that for your Costco purchases. Now I want to show you how much you would earn with each of these cards if you were to spend $10,000 in Costco in 1 year. But first, let me run you through some honorable mentions. First up, you have the SoFi Unlimited card, and that gives you 2% back on your purchases. But if you have direct deposit set up with SoFi, you get 2.2% back. The reason that I didn't include that is because you'd be a lot better off just getting a $200 sign-up bonus and getting 2% back with the Wells Fargo Active Cash. There's then the Bank of America Customized Cash Reward Card, which works a little bit like the Venmo card. You get to choose a 3% category, which includes gas, online shopping, dining, travel, drugstores, home improvement, and you can change your selection every month. But then you also get 2% back on grocery stores and wholesale clubs. This is capped at $2,500, and it really only makes sense if you have a lot of money with Bank of America. It works the exact same way as the Smartly card does from US Bank. If you have more than $20,000 with them, that 2% back on wholesale clubs would become 2.5%. If you had over $50,000, that would become 3%. And if you had over $100,000, it'd be 3.5%. The reason that this is just an honorable mention is because I trust US Bank a lot more than Bank of America. And with $100,000, you'd only be getting 3.5 instead of 4%. So now I'll show you how much total cash back you'll get with all the different options that I showed you. With a AAA card giving you 3% back and a $100 sign-up bonus, after that first year, if you spend $10,000, you would have a total of $400. You would also have $400 if you went with the Smartly card at 4% or Wells Fargo's Active Cash, $200 coming from Cashback and then $200 coming from the sign-up bonus. And then the Venmo and Robinhood card would only give you $300 cash back. Now that's sign-up bonus included. So after that first year, the Smartly card would start to pull ahead with the Venmo, Robinhood, and AAA cards lagging a little bit behind. I didn't include the Venture X in that because that's a travel card, so I'll leave that as its own thing. If you want to learn how to apply and set up the PayPal debit card that I talked about at the beginning of the video, I have a full in-depth video talking about it right here.